Welcome back to the Holistic Mental Health Summit. I'm so happy to be here with you again today. We have Sherry with us today. She is a holistic therapist and energy healer, and she's been one for over 30 years. So she's got a lot of experience to share with us today, and I can't wait for you guys to receive from her. She believes that we all disconnect from our essence. It is the human condition. No parent can provide 100% security 100% of the time. We are humans, people. We're limited to a degree, right? Everything that happens in our lives that trigger us thereafter provides an opportunity to reconnect to our essence. And I love that you're introducing this to us today, because we're going to be talking about healing from painful experiences and trauma. If you are not familiar with Sherry's work, definitely check out chapter 15, where she talks about using triggers as opportunities and 5 questions for reconnecting to your soul. She makes it really easy for you to reconnect for your soul. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Laura. It's great to be here.
You're welcome. So whenever Sherry and I chat, it's always so fun, and we always learn so much and always share laughs. So today we're going to be talking about a serious topic, but I'm sure that we're going to bring some spice into it as well. So I'm going to start by asking you how you define trauma, because I know a lot of people define it differently. So how do you define it?
So yes, there are many different definitions, like you said. So I define it as any disturbing events that we cannot process at the time, that then influences how we see ourselves and relate in our world in a negative way. It influences us in a negative way because we have disconnected from ourselves and then taken our world differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interpret the world differently after that. Yeah. So what do you categorize as a trauma? Like, what kinds of things would you put in that category, just in general?
So I think that we all experience trauma, like you said, it's the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say anything that is a threat to our security, our sense of security, when we are young and we're counting on our parents to provide security. So that, children are egocentric. They think everything has to do with them. And our parents are our nest.
Mm.
And they provide us safety and security. So if anything is off with them, and again, we're human, so we're not always connected. So anything that's off that threatens us is a trauma. So that could be the birth of a sibling, can be a threat. If your parent has some anxiety or depression, a lack of emotional attunement, if there is a death or an illness in your family and that takes your parent away, and somehow if you have a child in your family that has learning disabilities and needs more attention, it can be anything that is a threat that we might see as just everyday occurrences. Your parent works and has to travel for work. So it's all how that is interpreted in the brain.
Yeah.
So the child will think, because they're egocentric, oh, if my mom is spending more time with my sibling because they have sports or because they have a learning disability, oh, what's the matter with me? It's subconscious, and then it's a threat to them getting their need met.
I really love the way you're describing this, because it's not like these, huge abusive situations, which we all know are traumatic, right? We all already know that. But I think it's also the way you describe it allows us to realize that it's not necessarily anyone's fault.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the parents aren't doing anything wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. And yet our brains interpret things certain ways. And so we get to release all of that
Exactly.
tension and resentment, which just piles on to an already overtaxed nervous system.
Exactly. And you might have resentment or anger about a situation or toward the parent or toward yourself, but that's a natural part of the process. Like maybe because you've realized, oh my God, for 20 years I've been thinking this was my fault. look at all I missed out on. I'm so mad because of the way I've been interpreting my environment. You might have to process that, or say, oh, I can't believe you thought I was okay, mom or dad, because I was quiet. Like, why didn't you check and see? But like, they're doing the best they can, thinking you were just self-sufficient and didn't really need as much because you were a typical child, for example.
Right.
But no one's usually intending to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I really like that. And I also think, I know that one thing we're going to talk about today is this holographic memory resolution in terms of healing from trauma. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the healing process there too. But what I like about that is you don't necessarily need to go back into reliving this memory and like taking everything that your brain interprets as trauma and going back and analyzing it and being with it. Like, that's exhausting. And I know that's why a lot of people avoid trauma work. And I like that. In fact, this is a nice segue into that discussion as to like, how do you recommend, or what are your thoughts on how to go about healing from traumatic experience?
Well, I think that the important thing is to feel safe enough in your body to even go there.
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to align our body, mind, and spirit. So to understand that how this impacted you. So just understanding that, for example, oh, that was a threat to me when my younger brother was born. Just understanding that. And then processing your your feelings around the circumstance and releasing the energy from your body. So those, I think, are the components. And it's like peeling the layers, of like an onion. So sometimes we might have more access to our thoughts around something, sometimes our emotions, sometimes the energy in our body, but really to integrate all of that so that we can heal and live in wellness and not be influenced by that traumatic experience, but be able to feel more peace and joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And I so resonate with this concept of every trauma releases at different layers and in its own timeline. Like, there's been traumas that I've released that I thought would take forever. Like, I was like, this is deep. Like, this is going to take forever. And it was like, boom. Sometimes all I need to do is exactly what you just said. Sometimes you just have to have the recognition that it was perceived as a threat. And sometimes I will literally just recognize that and go, oh, and
Right.
then poof, it's gone. Like, it's
Exactly.
wild. And sometimes you have to sit with things longer. And it's wild how some of the things that I would consciously think would take me a lot longer don't take me as long. Like,
Right.
we never know what the energetic ties are underneath this stuff, and we don't have to release it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So talk to us about holographic memory resolution, because I think this is so brilliant and different and really lightens the energy around trauma.
It certainly does. I love holographic memory resolution. Like you said, I've been a therapist for over 30 years, and I've been using this modality from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so it is a gentle technique that the first thing that you have to do is ground. Again, you have to be safe in your body to explore trauma. And then what you do is you identify where you might feel any pain, pressure, or tension in your body. That's the holographic image. So that's where the holographic image is contained of the traumatic experience or event.
Mhm.
So you identify the color, the shape, the size of that holographic image, and then determine the emotion or emotions that are held in there and how young you might have been the first time you remember feeling that way.
Mhm.
And after you do that, let's say you say 5, and then all of a sudden a memory is going to pop in your head. This memory could be something you've thought about before. It could be something you've never thought about before, but you have to trust whatever's coming up for healing. And then you recount the memory. After you recount the memory, Then you say, like a dream, if you could change things for this little 5-year-old, how would you have made things different for her? And that empowers that part of you. So then once that part of you changes the memory, then you frame it in a picture frame, and then you run the color and the material of the picture frame through the child in you, or that part of you. It could be a teenager, or a 30-year-old in you, whatever part of you, and then the current adult in you. And then it literally changes, doesn't change your historic memory, you always remember what happened, but it changes the energetic imprint of the memory and just helps you to heal. So you touch upon the event, but only briefly, and then you change it.
Right, because it's not about sitting in it. It's really just about like decoupling this emotional charge.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact is, we all know from the research out there now that our trauma is held in the body. It's
Exactly.
in the body. And that's really what a holographic image is, right? Is like this imprint of like an energetic imprint of this trauma. And so that's what we're starting to kind of break up in this, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So we're going to practice it together, aren't we?
Yay, it's
Let's
exciting.
practice. Okay. So tell me what to do.
So what you do. So you can either think about a memory that you have already in your mind, or you can think about a situation that's upsetting for you, or you can just identify somewhere in your body where you feel pain, pressure, or tension. So whichever way you want to go, and then let me know, and then I'll start to prompt you through the exercise.
I much prefer to listen to the body. I always go that route. Yes.
Okay, so we'll do that. I'm just going to take a sip of water.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So with holographic memory resolution, you want to plant your feet on the ground and put your hands on your thighs, because you want to be able to have energy just flow through you.
Okay.
And not have it get crisscrossed. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes, or you can just lower your gaze and just take a few deep breaths. And just think about a person, place, or thing that helps you to feel safe and secure, and let me know who or where or what that might be.
Being with my mom in Pittsburgh.
So when you think about being with your mom in Pittsburgh, what color or colors come to your mind?
I get purple and green.
So this purple and green these colors have their own innate intelligence, and they'll just move through you as we go about this process, in case any difficult emotions come to the surface, to help ground you, help you to feel safe and secure. So pay very close attention to your body and note any pain, pressure, or tension anywhere at all. And let me know where that might be.
I feel it in my solar plexus, kind of like a tightening.
Okay. So is it on the inside, outside, or both?
On the inside.
Okay. So really concentrate on the inside of your solar plexus. Is this pain, pressure, or tension?
Tension.
Tension. And is this, what color is this tension in your mind's eye? What color do you see?
Blue.
And what shape is this blue tension?
It's like an oval shape.
Okay. Is it small, medium, or large?
I'd say it's large.
Okay. So really concentrate on this large blue oval. Really concentrate on it. What emotion or emotions are held there?
Sadness.
So really focus on this sadness. Really feel into this sadness. How young might you have been the first time you remember feeling this sad? What age pops in your head?
3.
And where were you and what was happening when you were 3 and you felt such sadness?
I just imagine myself in my house and feeling kind of alone and empty.
So really feel into that, just feeling in being in your house, feeling alone, feeling empty. Is there anything else important to convey about this memory? Anything at all?
It felt like my dad was absent,
Mm,
and like my mother was inaccessible and my sister was inaccessible.
mm. So, Laura, like a dream, if you can change things for this little 3-year-old who felt alone in her house and so empty, how would you make things different for her? It's your dream, any way you want it to be.
I would want my golden retriever at the time to cuddle with me and be with me, so I felt like I had a companion.
Mm,
And then I would approach my mom and I would ask her to play with me, to go outside with me. And we would play outside with my dog, and I would giggle and I would feel the fresh air and I would just feel very open and free and like enjoy with my mom.
that sounds beautiful. So, really picture that. How does she look? How does she feel? This little 3-year-old playing outside with her mom and her golden retriever, giggling.
She feels liberated.
Mm-hmm.
She feels proud of herself
Mm,
for extending herself and like
mm,
inviting other people in. She feels connected, um, playful, and safe,
mm,
seen.
mm. So, is there anything else you need to say, do, or give to her to make this picture perfect? Anything at all?
It's funny. I feel like she needs a snack.
Well, give her a snack.
I feel like she needs a snack just to like kind of ground her and like come around the picnic table and like be able to like then relax and just be face to face with mom and just like chat and connect a little deeper, you know?
Aw.
Yeah.
So, in your mind's eye, take a picture and put a frame around it. What color, colors, or material is the frame?
Mm. It's yellow and it's got like rays of sunshine coming out around it. So it's like a mix of like plastic and wood, like the wood frame, but then there's plastic rays kind of coming off of it.
So, from the top of her head to the soles of her feet, she's going to bask in this yellow wood and plastic rays of sunshine from the top of her head to the soles of her feet, especially in her solar plexus, where she felt this tension the most. And from the top of your head to the soles of your feet, you too are going to bask in this yellow wood with rays of plastic sunshine through every fiber of your being, every cell of your body. Again, especially where this tension was felt the most. So we're going to close out. What color or colors would you like to send to the parts of self that we didn't have a chance to work with today to help ground you in the present and help you not react to the past?
Like a rose pink.
So this rose pink has its own innate intelligence. It will just move through you as you go about your days to help you stay in the present and help you not react to the past.
Mm.
You can open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Mm. I loved that.
Yay.
I loved that. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I want to stay in it. I want to stay in it.
Well, that's one beautiful thing about it. Like you subconsciously will stay in it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. You know, it's funny because after I had sepsis, I did a very similar exercise to that for
Mm.
3 years, every single day. But there were some things added into it that are different than what I had done that really felt a little deeper and more complete. So, yeah, I really, really appreciate that. And also what's funny is like I've been spending a lot more time with my mom because there's so much joy that's shared between the two of us, and it just keeps building, building, building. Um and I started like feeling a little teary during that too, because it just felt like um that's not just because I enjoy it in current day, and but it's also because it's healing a history,
I certainly do.
which is really cool. Like it just shows me that desire, like where that desire is also anchored in
Mm,
me. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much.
you are so welcome. And then I like to ask people, do they have any new thoughts or any new feelings
Mm,
around, and I guess you already shared some,
mhm.
that you did say about how it's about healing from the past too, when you're with your mom, you know.
It is. I think I feel more anchored within myself.
Mhm.
That's what I would say, is I feel more anchored within myself. I feel calmer. I feel, and it's like the solar plexus is still a little bit activated, but like my whole body is calmer, right? My whole body is calmer. And I guess I just feel a sense of peace, like a sense of peace around it.
So wonderful. So you had mentioned that your solar plexus still feels activated. If we had more time,
Right.
I would have said, instead of it's time to close out, I would have said, would you like to go back in? Like, what do you notice in your body, in your solar plexus? Do you notice any pain, pressure, or tension anywhere else? And you can go in 2, 3, 4 times, whatever is comfortable.
Yeah.
And
And just go deeper.
exactly.
Mm. I just like it too because I feel like it's so much. I mean, and I'm sure you do too, have like every trauma certification under the sun, right? From the mental health world. But like, I really appreciate that this kind of work doesn't require us to just sit
Mm,
in the narrative of the trauma. Like you touch on it enough to activate the energy around it, but that's really all that's required. That's why I'm really glad people get to witness this, because they get to see how gentle it is, and how really like my body's natural intelligence and the energy's natural intelligence is what brought forward the wisdom.
exactly.
Like you're not doing anything for me per se. You're not healing
Right.
me. My energy's doing it. And that's what's so empowering for people.
Exactly. Exactly.
So cool. Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share with everybody? Like, if they were to implement this at home, they can obviously follow this video, right? Um, and some of the prompts will be a little bit different just because they'll have different images than I did. But they can follow this prompt on their own, would you recommend? Or do you think that if it's like really deep trauma, they should do it with a practitioner?
Well, I think following, doing only what feels safe for you. And if at
Yes.
any moment to stop, if
Mhm.
you need to, the reason I ground you at first is to help with the regulation of the emotions that
Yeah.
may come up. Some people are like, oh, I can't access, color, or, just the more you relax and practice, the easier it is to identify a holographic image. Some people say, oh, I can't, I don't have a memory. Like you had like your memory was just of being in your house, alone, and feeling like empty.
Mhm.
So you don't have to have a giant memory,
Yeah.
it could
Yeah.
just be like a visceral feeling.
Mhm.
And to process that feeling, and to identify that feeling and how you would have liked to feel instead.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to share my experience there too for people who are doing this so that they understand. It's like it's the first stage that pops up. Like don't analyze it, don't think about it.
Exactly,
The first stage that pops
exactly,
up. Like three just popped into my head. Like just
exactly.
go with it. And
Right.
then the image that popped up, I was like part of my brain was like, well, this is stupid. Like, I was like, this is stupid. Like this doesn't feel traumatic to me. Like this example is going to be a total bust. Right? Like I was just like, what the hell? But I just went with it. Like I just went with whatever I was seeing. And look, I was able to like, I felt teary. I felt energy moving. Like I felt a connection in my present life. Like it's just to validate that for people. Don't judge what comes up like Laura Mazzata did, right?
Don't judge it, don't doubt it, just go with it, right?
Go with
Get
it.
out of your head and just go.
Yeah, because it's the energy that's leading, not the
Exactly.
brain. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So is there anything else that you want to share with us before we close this up today? This was so wonderful.
Oh, I'm just feel blessed to be here and to be sharing, this modality. I think it's an amazing tool.
It is, it is. And you guys, Sherry has actually put all the tools that she's learned from 30 years of doing this work, 30 years
Mm.
into a digital experience for you. So that's something that you guys can learn about. Check out her email list. There's a link underneath this video in the description of this video. So make sure to just connect with her. I mean, honestly, everybody, as I always say at the end of these videos, everybody who's in this book, who's a part of this panel in the summit, is open to just having a conversation, right? And just saying like, hey, what's coming up for you? What's coming up for you? Let's see if how I can help you with this and if we resonate. But I really want you to just, I'm glad you were able to experience Sherry's work and her energy today. And if you felt something activated within you, shoot her a message and just learn more.
Yes, I would love to hear from anybody who'd like to reach out.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you so
day.
much.
Okay.